Good morning, everybody. First of all, it's whenever I come to England, there are two very special people. You are very fortunate. Rabbi Golker, who has been my Aksadia in England every time I come here. A very special model of midos of their inheritance, and really somebody that we all could and should learn from. A very, very dear friend. And Rav Hartman, who is somebody who is well known all over the world. I write in the Hamodia, he writes Svarim and the Maharal. It's a difference. And what do you call it? You fellows have to know the kind of exposure that you have to these sort of people. I'm sure all the other Rabbeim are also wonderful. Rabbi Rosenfeld, the Talmud of ours at Beis, and all the other Rabbeim are wonderful Rabbeim. I don't know them personally, but for 20 pounds each, I will say nice things about you too. I was asked to say a few words on the Parsha, and you have over here the epic meeting between Yaakov Avinu and Esav, and what each one represents. Yaakov Avinu represents the family, the wives, the children, the goals of a Torah Jew. Esav represents fighting, adventure, honor, covet, becoming president of the United States. It's the meeting of two cultures. Yaakov is described as an Ish Tam, Yoshev Oholin. Esav is an Ish Yodeh Tzad, Ish Sadeh. The difference between them is that an Ish Sadeh is a person who lives without any borders. In a field, you go out to the field, there are no wars, there are no borders, there are no barriers. Esav lives without any level of self-control whatsoever. I am from the United States, as you can tell. I am from Chicago, which is a pretty big city, a big Jewish city. My wife is from Columbus, Ohio, which is a small town. It's not my fault, that's where she's from. And it's about the size, maybe about the size, it's a little small town like St. Louis. And probably even less significant. And we're living in Israel, and I was there about 25, 30 years ago. We walked into an optometry shop. I had to get a new pair of glasses. So I had to fill out a form. I had a form for buying glasses. I had to fill out my name, a middle initial, where we're from. And I wrote down where we're from. The young lady behind the counter was obviously not Jewish. And she picks up the form, she starts scanning it with her eyes, and all of a sudden she sees, Jerusalem. You live in Jerusalem. Is it fun to live in Jerusalem? I want to tell you something. It takes a lot to get me speechless. I was speechless. Is it fun to live in Jerusalem? I mean, we have our moments, when you're walking on the sidewalk and a bus drives up on the sidewalk and honks you out of the way, that's fun. And when you go into a government office with your important documents and the lady behind the counter drips falafel trina on your document, I mean, that's fun. But frankly, when we decided to live in Israel, we took a lot of things into consideration: learning, parnasa, schooling, that sort of thing. My wife and I never looked at each other and said, and it's really fun to live in Jerusalem. So when you look at an Esav lives basically without purpose. Esav is living without any rules. Esav is living for fun. There is no word in Lashon HaKodesh for fun. There's no word in Lashon HaKodesh for fun. In modern Hebrew, they say kef, which is a pretty pathetic attempt at describing fun. And in Israel, fun means bisly, but it's also pretty pathetic. But, we're not living for fun. We're living with a purpose. We're living with a goal. When a Torah Jew wakes up in the morning, you get up in the morning and say, Moda ani lefanecha. You get up, you say, Moda ani lefanecha. What are we thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for? We're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for purpose. We're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for direction. We're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have a goal in life, we have something to accomplish. So, many years ago, again, I was in America, I had to drive. I just got married. I was married for 2 weeks. We had to drive from Chicago to Columbus, which is a 7-hour drive, straight on I-70 from Chicago to Columbus. To get out of Chicago, there's about a 16-lane highway. And I sat down with my father-in-law to show him, and he had to explain to me, he had to get, it was one of these, get into the third lane from the right, and then you jump into the fifth one from the left, and you got to make a quick right, and then catch I-70 and drive for 7 hours. Said to me, yeah, you got it? And I said, yeah, we both knew I didn't. And my wife and I get into the car, it's about 10:30 at night, start driving. Now you got to understand, Chicago's over here, Columbus is over here. We drive for about an hour and a half, and all of a sudden I see a sign that says Detroit, 235 miles. Detroit is here. That's bad. So I pull off the highway at 10:30 at night into a truck stop, and you can imagine, the lady behind the counter, you can imagine what she was like. And I said to her, hi, can you tell me how to get to Columbus? She goes, well, just a second. Roy, she calls out Roy. Roy's a trucker. Roy comes out, looks like he stepped right off the cover of Truckers magazine. He's got the mutton chop sideburns, he's got a beer in one hand, a beer in the other hand, a third one in his mouth. And Roy comes over, and she says, Roy, can you tell this guy how to get to Columbus? And Roy looks at me and goes, well, where are you coming from? So I was kind of embarrassed. I said, I don't know, Chicago. He looks at me and goes, Chicago. Chicago, boy, are you messed up, right? And he started laughing. He called all the other truckers. Roy, they all named Roy, by the way. Roy, they called, and they all had a good laugh. I was not amused. And
you have fun.
Did I have fun? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was fun. Yeah, that was great fun. Yeah, that was really fun. That was about as much fun as driving 20 miles an hour in London. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. You guys got to do a protest here or something. 20 miles an hour. I doubt the mayor over here. Is he going? I doubt it. But what? He puts his IQ all over the street. It says 20. You guys got to do something about this. If I were you, I would speed. I would just do it to get everybody. We're all driving 30 just to protest. Okay, I got that off my chest. I feel better now. So I learned a lesson from my friend Roy many years ago, which is that in life, you have to know where you're going, you have to have a goal, you have to have a direction. Yaakov Avinu comes and he encounters Esav over here. He's got a problem. What does Yaakov Avinu do? Yaakov Avinu says he prepares for 3 things. Rashi says, brings down Chazal, Yaakov Avinu prepares himself for a gift to send a bride to Esav. He prepares himself for tefillah, and he prepares himself for battle. A gift, tefillah, and battle. Somebody asked me a kasha, which I don't have an answer for, and I'm sure Rabbi Hartman, I'm going to ask Rabbi Hartman that Rashi says it in a different order than has been mentioned. Yeah, why?
There's the Yemim, there's Shomim, Chesed, and something in the middle.
That's what I thought. I was going the same place with it. So he asked me the question, I figured, that must be it. And so Yaakov Avinu's got a problem. Now, I want to tell you, there are problems in life. Everybody in life, you'll never meet somebody who doesn't have some sort of problem. But, problems, I heard a story about a mother walks into her daughter's room, 17-year-old girl. She sees a note on her bed. Mom, I'm sorry to tell you this, I've been seeing an Arab for the last few months. I've decided to marry him. We're going to live in his village. I know it's going to break your heart. Mother starts crying. She can't believe this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to keep a kesher with the family. I know that you're probably going to disown me, but I just feel there's something I have to do. On the bottom of the note, it says, P.S. Mom, I'm just joking. I just wanted you to know there are worse things in life than my report card, which you will find in my top desk drawer. About an hour later, she gets a text message from her father. Your little joke wasn't so funny. Mom had a heart attack. She's in the hospital on a respirator. I want to see her again in Olam Hazeh. I better get down here within the hour. At the bottom it says, P.S. I'm just joking. I just want you to know there are worse things in life than the beating you're going to get when you come home tonight. So Yaakov Avinu's got a problem, and this is a serious problem. And Yaakov Avinu prepares himself now for Torah, for tefillah, and for battle. The Mepharshim say that Yaakov Avinu here, first you bribe him. You send a gift. You bribe them. The Esavs of the world are all susceptible to bribes. The Esavs of the world, you could grease them, you could bribe them, you get stopped driving over 20 pounds an hour. Just, I had a friend who once got stopped in Chicago. He was speeding. The cop stopped him. said, I'm going to have to give you a ticket. The guy said to the cop, can I pay part of it in advance? He said, yeah, sure. How much? Whatever it's worth to you. That was Shalom's job. He can't do it, obviously. Hasmo, Shalom, just kidding. You can't drive. You got to drive. Gentlemen, don't ever say you have to drive 20, whatever it is that you drive over 20 miles an hour, not a mile faster. I got to get that on the record. Between me and you, do it. But now I'm on the record on the microphone. That's what you got to do. Yaakov Avinu first gets ready to bribe Esav. It's a pelago. Now watch what the Torah says. What's the first thing? He sends up groups of animals to Esav. What's the first thing he sends? The first group he sends kosher animals, non-kosher animals. The first thing he sends is goats. Now if you stop and think about it, it's a pella. Yaakov Avinu sends 5 groups of animals. He sends goats, and he sends sheep, and he sends camels, he sends what do you call cows, and he sends what's the last one? Horse, I don't have the bus over here. What does he send? Donkey, whatever it is. He sends 5 groups. The first thing that he sends Esav is a group of goats. Now stop and think about this. Yaakov hasn't seen Esav. He's nervous that Esav's going to be getting upset with him. Why was Esav upset to begin with? Because Yaakov stole his bracha. How did Yaakov steal the bracha? He stole the bracha by wearing goat skins on his arms. So now he's going to see Esav 20 years later. Now just imagine this. Esav is coming, and even if Esav is not as upset, and Esav comes along and he sees, imagine Esav's reaction. He sees a whole, a whole pile of goats are coming toward, a whole group of goats are coming. And Esav says, goats. And next thing you know, Yaakov has provoked him, which is exactly what he's trying not to do. Which is why it says, Vayikach min ha'bo. The Torah says, Vayikach min ha'bo. But literally it means he took whatever came to hand. But before it should say, Vayikach min ha'bo, from that which was on his arms, min ha'bo, Dafke took goats and sends it to Esav. Why is he doing that? What sense does that make? The answer is, if you ever want to test somebody, for example, say you get married, and once in a while it happens that women bake, and it often happens that they don't want you to touch what they've baked. It's like when I walk into the kitchen Thursday night, Friday morning my wife says to me, hey, there were 2 apple pies in the refrigerator last night, now there's only 1. How'd such a thing happen? I said, well, it was dark in the room, I didn't see the second one. So, so sometimes it happens that, they really don't want you to do this. Imagine your wife bakes a pie for a simcha, it's a big simcha shop, she bakes a pie, I come in Thursday night for my mishmar. I'm hungry, she's sleeping. Women, by the way, have this incredible talent that as soon as you go to the fridge, they can be deep fast asleep, 1:30 in the morning. You open the fridge and you hear the voice, don't touch the pies for the Goldstein's Kiddush this Shabbos. So what am I going to do? There's tuna fish right on the counter. Thank you. So sometimes you have to, I'll teach you the technique some other time, but there are times when so you go in and she wakes up in the morning and you've nibbled at the pie, meaning you've had 3/4 of it. And then she's, maybe a little bit upset. So you decide to buy her a gift for Erev Shabbos. What do you buy her? You buy her a new big book of baking. That might not be the best thing to do because it's just going to remind her exactly why it is that she's upset of you. So why is Yaakov sending goats? The answer is that Yaakov is doing it as a test. If he can get past the goats, then it'll be okay. But let's see, because eventually he's going to see something that may get him upset anyway. This is the first test to Esav. Let's send it to Esav, number 1. Number 2, psychologically, he's delivering a message to Esav. Sometimes when you want to work on a person psychologically, just say, I'm so confident that you won't be upset with me about what happened. I can even send you goats, and you're not going to be upset. But you just better be sure that you're right, and he won't be upset. So Yaakov prepares Esav for gift, tefillah, and battle. And the Mefarshim say, with this we conclude, the Mefarshim say that the Torah is teaching us, Yaakov Avinu is teaching us how to deal with the Yetzer Hara, who is the ultimate fight, the ultimate representative of Esav, and we see later, Yaakov is going to wrestle with Sarah Shal Esav. How do you battle the Yetzer Hara? We all have a Yetzer Hara. Everybody's got a Yetzer Hara, but for different things. The first step is to give the Yetzer Hara a gift. That means that we cannot put ourselves in a vise. We cannot close ourselves in too tightly and limit ourselves. There's something called a chelek for the Satan. You have to give him something. It's got to be mutter, but you have to have that outlet. You have to have, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whatever the kosher outlet is, and not close ourselves off and make ourselves nervous and tense. Everybody has to have their outlet, number one. Number two, in the battle against, in the fight against the Yetzer Hara, you have to Dovid. Dovid Siyata D'Shmaya. We don't stand a chance without Siyata D'Shmaya. And number three is Milchama. That sometimes we're in a situation, listen, it's hard. And we're in a situation where the Gemara says the Yetzer Hara is made up completely of eyes, for example. And you're in a situation where there are people around you with severe clothing allergies, and you're not supposed, you can't, and it's hard. You got to muster up the willpower to avoid looking or using some sort of technological instrument that is also what is regular as a truth was dumb on it. And you want to try to avoid it. It's a battle. So there's A, matana, B, there's tefillah, C, there's a battle. And then finally the battle of Yaakov against Esav, where Yaakov, Vayavek Yishima Adolos HaShachar. By the way, the pasuk was there before the song. And Yaakov Avinu is fighting with Esav, Vayavek Yiva. Chazal say, Gemara says, Vayavek, when two people are wrestling, they kick up dust, they kick up dirt. You're moving around, you're jockeying for position, your feet are kicking dirt. How high did the dirt go, Rabbi said? Dirt went all the way up, and where it says, the dirt went up to the Kisei HaKavod. What do we need to know how high the dirt went? They were wrestling, went all the way to Kisei HaKavod. So I heard Hashem Tzimar Zilberg said like this. The Torah doesn't say that the victory over the Yetzer Hara went up to the Kisei HaKavod. The Torah says that the battle, the dirt of the battle, went to the Kisei HaKavod. That's all it's asked of us. We're asked to fight. We're asked to get in. It's a battle. It's a relentless battle. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon battle. And it's a battle against the Yetzer Hara on a day-to-day basis, hour to hour, day to day. The battle to get into the trenches and fight the fight, that's what's expected of us. Will we win every time? No. But what goes up to the Kisei HaKavod is the effort that we put in to overcome the Yetzer Hara, to grow as Torah Jews, to grow and make the effort to learn Torah, to counteract the Yetzer Hara. That's the dirt that goes up to the Kisei HaKavod, and everybody should have a lot of Siyata D'Shmaya. You have wonderful, wonderful Rabbi teachers over here. They're available 24 hours a day. I think Rabbi Hartman likes to be called at 2 in the morning if you ever need any questions. Anybody, they're all available. Rabbi Goldber's home is always open. I invite you all in anytime you want to go. And you should have a lot of Siyata D'Shmaya. Baruch Hu Atzlacha.